Hey everyone, and welcome back to the FishMarketAcademy, where we teach how to fish for gains. So in today's video, we'll be exploring the Prism Protocol, which is a protocol that allows you to refract yield-bearing assets into its principal component and its yield-bearing component. So if you found this video useful, do remember to like and subscribe, and let's get started. So as usual, nothing I say is financial advice. So what is Prism? Prism, like I mentioned earlier, is basically a protocol that allows users to split yield-bearing assets into two parts, the principal and the yield component. And basically, the principal token allows the users to speculate on the price action of the token, whereas the yield token allows the user to speculate on the staking reward, also known as the staking yield. And this enables greater capital efficiency and functionality. So let's explore how this is actually done. So how does Prism work? You will take your yield-bearing assets such as your Luna, and then you'll go into the Prism Protocol website to split it into the principal and the yield component. The main difference is that the principal token can still be used for governance rights by staking it in Prism and exercising the proxy yield-bearing asset governance rights. And for the yield token, you can stake the YT in Prism and earn the yield-bearing asset staking rewards. And of course, just like any other collateral or asset, you can provide liquidity, you can earn liquidity incentives and AMM fees, you can trade it, and you can use it as collateral for borrowing or lending. On top of that, the principal token also acts as futures contract that expire on a certain date, and the yield token would act like bonds that are heading towards their maturity date. In the beginning, when they first launch, these contracts will act more like perpetuals, so there won't be a maturity or a certain expiration dates like mentioned, but in the future, in Prism V2, so they've already planned for this, there will be certain fixed expiry dates like 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, similar to the futures and options in stock markets as well as in the rebate exchange. For the principal token, once it reaches maturity, I believe you can swap it into the collateral token without the yield token. And for the yield token, once the maturity date has been reached, then just like a bond, it would disappear because it has finished paying out its coupons in a way. So what happens to these tokens after they hit expiry or maturity? When principal tokens expire, they can be swapped back into the collateral token without the yield token and then can be exchanged for the underlying collateral or can be minted into new YT and PT with a different maturity date. And for yield tokens, once they reach their expiry, similar to a bond, but again this is not going to be immediate, this is going to come later in Prism V2. So just to go over again, the first yield-bearing asset will of course be Luna, and it will be split into pLUNA and yLUNA. And pLUNA will basically be principal Luna, where you can stake on Prism Protocol to exercise Luna voting rights. And of course, you can provide LP in pLUNA Prism pools to earn trading fees and Prism incentive reward for providing liquidity. And of course, pLUNA itself can be used in money markets to borrow or lend against. And for yLUNA, it can be staked on Prism Protocol to earn Luna staking yield, and you can also provide liquidity in yLUNA Prism pools to earn trading fees and Prism incentives. And of course, you can use it in money markets to borrow or lend against. So let's explore a use case using Luna for Prism Protocol. So a user would first deposit Luna in Prism Protocol and then it would refract and mint pLUNA and yLUNA. The user can then stake yLUNA in Prism and receive the Luna staking rewards with airdrops, etc. And they can also use pLUNA to provide liquidity and earn LP rewards. And let's say the user is bullish and they want to gain more exposure to the price action of Luna. So what they can do is they can decide to sell yLUNA to buy more pLUNA. So they will unstake their yLUNA and sell it immediately on Prism Swap into pLUNA, and there's no unstaking period. Since the yLUNA was used to buy pLUNA, it gives the user leverage exposure to the price of Luna with no risk of liquidation because there is no liquidation price for pLUNA. So the benefits of Prism is that you get to borrow with no risk of liquidation or daily funding costs by monetizing the future yield of an asset. You can also gain or swap exposure to other yield-bearing assets such as ETH, Solana, DOT or Atom, etc. in the future through Prism. And last but not least, you can participate in liquid staking to receive Luna airdrops as well as staking rewards automatically while still ensuring that your Luna is tradable and liquid by having it in the form of yLUNA and pLUNA. So let's say you have your pLUNA and yLUNA. How do you claim back your underlying collateral? Through the protocol, you can burn it to receive the collateral token, which can then be used to redeem the underlying collateral, but do note that it will take 21 days, similar to an unstaking period. And also, if you wish to skip the withdrawal period, you can always swap them into the underlying collateral directly through the AMM, probably with a slight discount, similar to swapping bLUNA into LUNA, where there is a slight discount on bLUNA. So let's explore the Prism launch phases. So phase 1 is the Prism Forge, where you get to change your UST into Prism through a price discovery mechanism, similar to Mango Markets, but with some improvements to it. Phase 2 will be Prism Swap, which is the AMM ideal launch where you swap your UST into Prism. And then Phase 3 is Prism Refract, where you get to split or refract your LUNA into cLUNA or collateral LUNA that is then used to mint pLUNA and yLUNA. And Phase 4 is Prism Farm, where you get to farm yLUNA. So since phase 1 is coming very soon, here's a bit more information about it. Basically on the 25th of January this month, users can contribute UST into the pool while being able to withdraw their full deposit as long as they withdraw before the 29th. On the 29th, only one withdrawal can be made and the withdrawal amount decreases by 4.2% hourly. So for example, on the first hour you can still withdraw 100%, but every hour, like the next hour, it drops to like 95.8%. So this is an improvement over Mango Markets and it's basically an anti-whale measure. So one of the problems with Mango Markets is that a whale can come in and contribute a gigantic amount of UST, which would push the price of Prism so high that it doesn't make sense for anyone else to buy it at that price. And the whales can basically withdraw at the very last second so that they can push the price down to the actual price that they want to buy it at. And this is usually done through a bot or a script. So with this method, where the withdrawals will start to reduce, whales cannot withdraw all of their tokens at the very last second. But whales can still withdraw a large portion within the first hour or the next hour, and that's after deposits are closed. So we shall see how effective this whole mechanism is. So the next phase is the DEX listing, where 7% or 70 million Prism tokens will be released to participants who contributed UST in phase 1. So the Prism UST pool will be created and all Prism tokens from phase 1 will be released in phase 2. There are no vesting periods or large unlocks. So essentially this is also the public phase where users will be able to buy Prism tokens on a public DEX for the first time. So what about the token utility? Prism can be staked to receive X Prism, which is used to participate in governance, and it can also be used to borrow, lend out, or provide liquidity on Prism Swap. In terms of governance, it will be used to oversee the liquidity incentives as well as how the community funds will be used in terms of deciding new asset listings, etc. In terms of fees, X Prism holders will receive fees that the protocol charges, and all the fees will be collected and converted into Prism on the AMM and shared with the X Prism pool. Additionally, there's a lot of intrinsic demand for X Prism because validators will be required to pledge X Prism as collateral in order to be considered for LUNA delegation from the Prism vault. So all of the yLUNA that gets staked into the Prism vault, the yLUNA is going to receive staking rewards and will have to be delegated into a validator. And for the validator to be chosen, they need to be pledging X Prism. And therefore, validators will want to buy and hold on to Prism in order to basically receive the additional staking rewards for receiving delegation. On top of that, Prism also offers slashing insurance when a validator suffers downtime. So instead of their LUNA being slashed, they can actually use their X Prism as insurance to cover any slashed amount. So that gives additional benefit for wanting to buy and hold X Prism. Prism also utilizes a vote locking mechanism, which is getting very popular in crypto nowadays, popularized by the curve model where you can stake curve and then stake and lock curve, and the longer you lock it for, the more voting power and the more yield you receive, and you can lock for anywhere from 1 week to 4 years. So this is the tokenomics. There will be a total of 1 billion Prism, and you can pause this video to take a look at the breakdown. And this is the emission schedule, where the most important thing would be the community and liquidity incentive has a linear vesting over 4 years. So there will be 4 years of inflation. And of course, it's very important to take note of the 6 months cliff for the core contributors as well as the strategic partners. So that's a 6 months cliff, and the TGE is going to be on 30th Jan. So the 6 months cliff after this will be on the end of June. So that's something that you want to take note of in case you're looking to buy any type of unlock, which could cause the price to dip, and that could be a good buying opportunity. So in conclusion, I think this is a pretty interesting new primitive and it's going to have a large impact on the entire DeFi landscape. Prism essentially allows users to be able to decide between maximizing their exposure to future yield or to the price of an asset without having any liquidation risk. In the future, Prism will definitely be looking to scale into other assets such as ETH, Solana, Polkadot, and the whole of the Cosmos and Atom ecosystem. So you have your Secret Network, you have Juno Network, etc., which are all proof of stake tokens, and they can all benefit from the reflection utility that Prism offers. So that's all for this video, and if you found it useful, do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!
Baby fish do 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 do, baby fish do 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 do, baby fish do do